the emotional system of our brain, and the memory system of our brain. Attention is controlled by the frontal part of the brain. It's called the frontal lobe. The brain is a 3.25 pound piece of mass, rests on top of your head. Some people hold that it evolved over 100,000 years since Homo sapiens hit the scene. So a lot of work went into this brain, and one of the most advanced features of it are our ability to pay attention. And this part of the brain here lets us focus on a lecture. It allows us to observe the 4 children that we might have in our home running around. I need this help with this homework. Mommy, I need help with that issue. Dad, can you take me to my baseball game? How do I control and focus my attention on all of these varying channels of information? Luckily, you have a brain that's very advanced that allows you to do so. An animal doesn't have that capacity. For example, a dog chases their tail around. That's as far as it goes. It's as much attention as it can give. Let me look at my tail. Where's my tail? Where's my tail? Where's my tail? Where's my treat? Where's my treat? That's it, one line. But you have multiple lines because of the attention system of the frontal lobe of your brain. Great. What about emotions? Does anyone ever notice that they get a little rageful with their phone? They feel like it's causing more problems in their life, or maybe makes them very happy. They get a nice ding, a nice message, and it's a loved one all the way in another country saying, "Oh, I miss you." "Oh, I feel so good." The part of the brain that helps control this is called the amygdala. It's located in the base of the brain. Very important. With technology, it becomes extremely stimulated. And guess what? Every manufacturer of every piece of technology knows this about your brain. And they know even further that the brain produces a rush every time you get pleasure out of using your technology. In fact, a neurotransmitter, a chemical, is produced in your brain called dopamine. Every time you get a positive message, or you check your phone and there's a Facebook message waiting for you, pop, a little dopamine rushes through your brain. Similar to the pop that you experience if you are in love and you're in a passionate embrace with a loved one. There's a pop of dopamine. And the dopamine rush that you get when you gamble or you use a substance. They all produce, such as something as significant as cocaine, is all about dopamine pumps. And the manufacturers of your devices know this. So keep that in mind. Finally, the memory system. The memory system. Just do a little test of your memory. Pull out your smart pads again. And I'd like to challenge you to try to write down as many phone numbers that you remember from the ages of 10 years old to 20 years old of your life. What phone numbers come to your mind? Whose numbers do you remember? Write them down.
You have to remember who they belong to? Or just
No, that's a bonus. You get more stickers if you get that one. If you get to 10 phone numbers, you can stop there. That's quite an accomplishment. 10 years old to 20 years old. Meaning when you were 10 years old, to when you were 20 years old.
You're 10 years old.
Yeah, I'm taking you way back, guys. Go back in your memory to the phone numbers you remember. What was your home number? What was your grandmother's phone number? What was Hatsalah's number? We thought we'd learn that one in school.
I remember.
You know, in Mexico, now, because overpopulation is like, the numbers used to be like 7 digits, now they're 10. It's crazy.
There's too many numbers, right? Another lecture we'll give on the details of memory. Okay. Now, I'd like you to try to remember someone other than your spouse, and maybe even that would be a challenge, a phone number of 3 of your best friends now. Their cell phone numbers from now.
So,
Yeah.
Cell phone numbers of 3 of your best friends.
What about my kids?
3 phone numbers of your best friends. Anyone having a little trouble?
Yeah, because I
Brothers
just
is
pressed,
okay?
That's right.
I don't,
Brothers?
Brothers is okay.
I don't know the number that is because
All right. The memory system, let me guess. Was it easier? They're still working on it. They're still going. You got it. Okay. Ginger got it.
Okay.
Was it easier to remember the current phone numbers?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so I have one person that says yes, definitely.
No.
2 people say yes, definitely.
Same.
Yes.
The memory systems that you're using are completely different. Long-term storage, one part of your memory. More recent information is still kind of long-term storage, but you're using technology now to help you with your memory. You're outsourcing your memory system. So that 10 years ago, we all knew 20 phone numbers. You knew every phone number of every one of your family. You knew every one of your friends' phone numbers, area codes, zip codes. You knew it all. But now, you're lucky if you remember a cell phone number of someone in your life. And you only remember it coincidentally. Not because you're trying to remember it, because you outsource your memory. This is your new memory.
Sure, I got more.
All right, we can close the pads now.
I'm done? Okay.
We're done with that exercise. We'll come back to the pads. You see, the memory system is actually quite like the brain. Quite like the brain. We're referring to, rather, I should say, the brain is quite like a computer in the fact of its memory. The brain is oftentimes compared to having a long-term memory, like a computer has its memory system. You have input, how do you get the information in? You type it onto a keyboard. Right? The brain has the same kind of system. You see, technology and the brain are very much related. And the evolution that we are experiencing right now in technology is informed by what we know about how the brain has evolved. But there's only one difference, a major difference. I told you before, the brain took 100,000 years to develop. At a nice, steady pace. We started with beating drums before people could even communicate. They would beat drums. They wouldn't have sophisticated language. They would communicate through song. If you ever saw Avatar, there's scenes where they're beating drums. That's how they communicate. Then they fast forward, and they finally learn to communicate with languages and syllables. They put them together. We evolved. We then learn how to get information out in written form. Hieroglyphics are found. Ancient hieroglyphics. We begin to communicate through writing. Fast forward, we get to the printing press. We can mass produce communication. Take a couple steps forward. We invent the first cell phones. 1973 was when the first handheld phone that was wireless came out. But due to their expense, they were not made widely available until the 1990s. From that point on, from 1990 to 2012, we are talking about, who can do the math quickly? 22 years. 100,000 years for the brain. Let's now focus on 22 years in technology, where we've started with basic ability to communicate in this free-form way, off the wire, off the ground, and we start rapidly increasing to a point where now we can hardly keep up. Why is this important? What's the big deal? All right, so I have to go buy a new phone every year or 2 years and my contract is up. There happens to be a new innovative phone and I'm addicted to it and I have to go and get the new iPhone 5 and I'm a victim of it. I just got an iPhone 5. And the rabbi just got me a great cover with mustaches because I will be shaving and creating a mustache from November after this lecture. Okay? But I have to get the iPhone. I felt I needed to. What's that?
Why is it not in the box?
Good question. Good question. I'll have to speak to the sit-down team after. But why is this relevant? What is the issue with speed? Anytime there is an evolution which occurs for the human race, there is a body, a group of individuals who usually looks out for the benefit of mankind to see, is this change valuable, healthy, important for us? Or perhaps it's detrimental for us. If it is detrimental for us, how do we deal with it? This is the role of the scientific community. There are scientific ways of assessing issues. We've done this way back in surgeries. We don't just send people for mammograms. It's a big issue right now. There's a lot of changes in mammograms. Should people go? Should they not go? How do we understand the answer to the question? There's research. They investigate the traces of time, look at 30 years worth of data, and we'll tell you this is the safest way to go. Should we eat this food or that food? Science helps us answer questions. Technology, though, is a very slippery piece of evolution because it is happening too quickly for the scientific community to adequately investigate what is happening in time to tell you, wait, don't do that. Don't do as much of that. And I can tell you as a researcher, it takes years